Hello again, everyone. It's Ariel Helwani, now being joined by the one and only Aljamain Sterling, the Funk Master, the king without a crown, the uncrowned champion of the UFC's 135-pound division. He should have the belt right now. He submitted Cory Sandhagen in impressive fashion on Saturday, and, well, he doesn't have the belt yet. He is talking with me on this Monday afternoon. Aljamain, how are you? Congratulations.
Thanks for having me. Feeling great, man. Still over the moon about this, and just super happy with my accomplishments and this long journey, man. Finally getting here and doing what I set my goals out to be. I'm actually trying to migrate to a quieter room, but
yes, I was going to mention Aljamain is at the UFC PI right now because his teammate Merab Devashvili, it's a tough one, is fighting this weekend at the UFC Apex against Ray Borg. So you're going to stick around the whole week in Las Vegas.
Sticking around this week. I'll be here the following week after that for Matt Favola. So far so good, man. We're riding a high right now with the team, and everyone's pumped up to be in this position. I think everyone's feeding off of each other's energy, and it's a fun time to be a part of the Sarah Longo team.
Is there a part of you, I'm sort of like hyping it up there, but is there a part of you that says, you know what, I should be a champion right now on this Monday afternoon?
Oh, 100%, man. The resume that Cory Sandhagen had, and I know a lot of people are probably going to be writing him off now, but the kid's young, man. He's going to bounce back like no other and take out the next couple of guys he fights. So that was the guy with the best resume in terms of name value and the work that they've done. So it would have been nice, if that was for the strap, but unfortunately it wasn't. And you know what? The next one will be. So that's what I'm most happy about. I'm excited about what's to come for the future.
Are you surprised it ended that quickly?
Honestly, kind of, sort of. I didn't think it was going to go like that, but you know what, man? I'm glad it did. I mean, honestly, I knew I had the abilities to do it, but to actually have it go down like that, I think that was more of the fascinating part for me. That was like everything we worked so hard for, it came to fruition, so I couldn't have been more excited. Yo, Joey Benavidez in the house.
Wow, you got everyone there.
Yeah.
So what did you expect?
I honestly, I thought I was going to leave that fighting on crutches. I thought we're both going to the hospital. We're going to be buddies there. And I knew Cory was a tough dude. A lot of questions to be answered. And thank you, man. Thank you. And yes, I expected the worst, and I prepared for the worst, and the best Cory Sandhagen. And fortunately, my skills reigned supreme that night, and in an early way. And I took out a confident and highly touted Cory Sandhagen, ranked number 4 in the world, and I think that was a huge feather for me in my cap.
So very early on, you get his back, you're on the ground, and looks like he's very close to tapping. He escapes briefly, but then you lock in the rear naked again. You get him. The first time he escaped, did you think like, holy smokes, because it looked like he was done right then and there? Were you discouraged at all?
Oh, of course not. I knew he was a tough dude. He's well-rounded everywhere. He's got good skills, and if it was going to be that easy, that would have actually been shocking. But I mean, I guess you could kind of say, people might say it was easy, but I'm like, it's not that it was easy, man. I just think I'm very talented in that position. If I get anybody there, man, you're in trouble. 45, even some guys at 55, I think I'm strong enough to get some guys in that weight class as well, man. If I get there, you're in trouble, man. I think for my size, I have a relatively ridiculous squeeze, and I work hard at it, man. I don't know. The second attempt, I got him there, and I knew that was pretty much all she wrote. As soon as I felt that sink underneath his neck, I switched to the lefty side, and that was actually the first time I think I've ever really hit a lefty rear naked choke. So that was something we were working on right before we left and got here, and paid off.
I was talking to Ally Quinta, one of your cornerman good friends, the day of the fight, and I asked him, it looks to me from the pictures that I'm seeing online that Aljo's in the best shape of his career. Like, you're always in phenomenal shape. You're always very cut, but there was just something different where it looked like you were just in phenomenal shape. And he agreed. He said, yeah, that's true. Could you explain, do you agree with that? And B, how did that happen?
Honestly, I really don't know. I don't know if things were different. I guess you guys would know better from the outside looking in. I felt like I was in great shape. I always feel like I'm in great shape every single fight. But, I mean, to hear that, I guess people see different things. And I think we did push ourselves pretty good with this one, with the strength and conditioning. I knew we weren't going to have the training that we had before, so I made sure that was a key point to focus on, making sure our muscle endurance was up to par, and in case I had to squeeze for a long period of time with the legs, with the arms, I just had to make sure I was going to be ready for a hard 15 minutes. And like I said, man, I got a ridiculous squeeze, and if I get anyone there, I really feel like it's like I really do believe I'm the human economy. I'm like a boa constrictor. I get on you, and I can compress anything and make you feel like your ribs are gonna just decompress and squish. You know.
If that same sequence of events happens in the third, when you guys are all sweaty after 15 minutes, do you feel like it goes the same way, or did you benefit in that moment from the fact that he was super dry?
I think it goes the same way, man. I don't think anything would change. People can say whatever they want, the sweat and you've been sliding off. But I think once I get that rear naked, that body lock triangle on anybody, I think it's a tough position to deal with. I'm good at maintaining controls with the legs. I stomped my foot to the ground. You saw when he sat up, he got out of the face crank. He got out of that. He sat up and he tried to address the body triangle, which was the correct thing to do. Getting your shoulders to the mat, correct thing to do. And every time he tried to make those adjustments, I snatched him back up and pulled him back into my guard. And I think it's just my experience in those positions and being able to go with these high-level guys. Like I said, I go with these guys who are world-class, Jason Rao, Nick Roman. You got all these guys, the John Danaher Def Squad over there, those guys that I get to roll with from time and time again. So you put that together, man, you got a good crew. Mike Sullivan, all these guys, man, they're high-level guys who train jiu-jitsu day in and day out. They live and breathe jiu-jitsu on the mat. So for me to get the opportunity to train with those guys and to catch guys in those submissions, I think I'm in a pretty good spot. And I did a lot of training without the shirts, a lot of situational training. People could probably see some of the video footage that the UFC put out. The Dog Pound training crew, we put down a really good camp, and I think to do we left no stones unturned. So I was ready for every single position. Sweat, no sweat. That fight, I get him down, I get on his back or anybody's back. That fight's as good as a movie.
How'd you feel about fighting in the smaller cage?
I think if your kryptonite is wrestling, then good luck. As Liam Neeson would say, good luck. In taking. So I think it benefits a guy who's as good as a grappler as myself, because I can close the distance. I got really good awareness on the feet when it comes to striking, and I think it helps me close the gap a little bit faster. So I think that was the difference, man. I was ready and willing to take damage, to get inside, to press my game plan, and to really impose my will to get the fight to where I wanted it to be. I don't think Cory necessarily made a mistake on the feet. I think he was just in there with the bull. And that was the difference. I was not going to be denied that night. And once I got my hands locked, he threw a kick, gave me an opportunity to grab something, and that's all I needed. I just needed a shred of control to get inside, weave my head in, lock my hands up, and I forced him down. I think he was surprised by my strength once we got into that clinch, and I just muscled him down, man. I think that's just the difference. I'm a big, strong bantamweight. I cut down from 170.
Whoa.
I'm a big guy this way, man. I was contemplating the last few fights of going up a weight class, but I'm right here on the cusp of greatness in terms of making history in the UFC bantamweight division. So it's like, let me further cement my name in this history book before we decide to go up. So I think a couple more runs at this weight class, and we'll see what happens. I'm still young, but the weight cut is getting significantly harder.
Really? This one was tough?
I do a pretty good job of maintaining my weight and getting it down early. But to maintain that, I'm super muscle bound. You look at Cody Stamen, he's not a very tall guy, but he's thick, so for him to go up to 45 would be a disadvantage. But for me, I still got a good enough frame where I can compete with some of those guys. You get to those guys who are like 6 feet tall, 6'1", and might run into a little bit of issues with the range. But like I said, man, I get those guys down. I just need an inch of control. Let me take them down, and I'll climb your back like a spider monkey. I'll be like Nightcrawler, just bam, right there on your back.
And so you get the great performance, and then afterwards you do the post-fight interviews that are a little different now. And I'm wondering, obviously with so much going on with the Black Lives Matters protests and all the the talk in America about racism and trying to end racism, you get this great platform. You're a proud Black American, and you say what you say. Were you planning on doing that, or was that something that just came to you in the moment? Was that something you thought about before, or just something that happened spur of the moment?
Yeah, it was something I definitely wanted to talk about and touch base on. It's a slippery slope in terms of certain things that you say. So I had to be really calculated and especially maintain my composure with the adrenaline rushing to really get a clear, concise message out that where I stand and my true beliefs on this whole situation has been going on for decades, you know. So I think using my platform for the greater good, I know a lot of athletes tend to shy away from that because sponsors typically don't like when athletes get political or speak on injustices because they think it brings negativity to their brands, which I think is ill-willed, because I think if sponsors were good people and they want to promote a positive message, they should get on board with those who are looking to make those type of changes. And I think it says something about the sponsors themselves and where they stand with certain situations. So I know it's a slippery slope. People start to look at dollar signs that might be lost if they do talk about certain things. For me, you know what, man, I think the good, like I said, the good sponsors are going to stick by, and the ones that, you know, they don't have the same moral beliefs that I do, you know, good riddance, you know. So it is what it is. I'm not going to sell my soul for $1. And I think I'm comfortable in my own skin, man. I'm comfortable with the message I want to put out for everybody. And at the end of the day, it's really just about being a good person. I think, like, look at the sport I'm in. We're in here to hurt each other. We're in here to inflict pain and separate each other from our consciousness. That's what we're contracted to do. Beat the shit out of each other. But here I am talking about having respect for one another, no matter the color, shade, or pigment of your skin. Doesn't matter where you're born. If you have the most busted shoes, the newest shoes, I treat you the same I treat the other person. And I always say, people who treat me well because of who I am, they don't treat my counterpart the same way because they don't have the name value or the background or the celebrity status quo. You know, that says a lot about that person and their moral beliefs and how they were raised. You know, so I think it really starts with us as individuals and really try to change the narrative on everybody's mindset. You know, for the kids, the way you shape their minds and how you teach them and bring them up to just treat people like people, man. Treat people the same way you want your mother treated, your father treated, your brothers and your sisters. I think it's as simple as that. If you do those things, is there racism? No. Is there inequality? No. I think you treat everyone with respect until they cross that line. And I think when you cross that line, certain things got to be met with a certain type of response. You know, and I think that's reasonable. You know, if you smack my mom, I think it's reasonable to understand that I'm going to fight you or smack at you or something, some type of repercussion. So I think there's always a response to every single reaction. For every action that deserves another reaction. And I think when cops, and I have cop friends, and I hang out with cop friends on a daily basis. So when I look at this, I always say, if you're an accomplice to a crime, right? Even if you had no idea, you're somewhat still an accomplice. If you help that person get away when they said, go, 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 they just robbed the bank, just robbed the 7-Eleven, something, go, 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 you're an accomplice. So if a cop is standing by, that's a good cop, right? And they're watching their fellow brotherhood in arms do something that's wrong, and they know it's not right, and they stand by and they watch and they allow it to happen, they're an accomplice to that. You know, you may be a good cop, you might not have caused that action or committed that crime or that mishandling of that person, but you watched it happen, you didn't address it, you staying in silence is pretty much as good as doing the action yourself, in my personal opinion. So I think it comes down to accountability, people having respect for each other, and obviously it starts with change within us. If I start teaching my kids the right way, we can kind of break that revolving door. I think everyone has to take responsibility for their own actions. I think there's a lot, man. It's such a deep-rooted issue in this country. Again, it's a great country. I'm fortunate to be here. There's so many worse countries that I could go to and live that have way worse ruling and less say and less freedoms of expression and stuff. So I never want to take that for granted. But at the same time, there's things that can make this country way better. So I think people just need to take a look at themselves, and then we can start to change things from the inside out.
On the flip side, you had that great moment where you had to catch yourself and say pause, and I commend you for sharing this and for owning up to it. That was a good save, my man. Well done.
Thank you. Man, I was so in the moment. I was I don't know, I was on a roll, and then I realized what I said. I was like, wait, hold up, that sounded really, really weird. Pause on that.
Well done. So, now we have this situation where you're next, right? We know that you're next, but there is going to be this title fight. Who do you want to win? Do you want Jan to win? Because it seems like you guys don't really see eye to eye. Are you hoping that he wins that fight? And do you think he wins that fight so that you can settle your score?
I don't think there's any beef, man. I think it's honestly just more of a competitor's thing. I think he thinks he's the best. I think I'm the best. And we both want to figure it out. You know, he posted something before my fight saying the most dangerous wrestler with the eye rolling emoji, me going for a lat drop throw on Brett Johns, and I failed, and he ended up in mount for a brief second, but I escaped like 3 seconds later. And, you know, he's breaking my balls about that right before my fight. And I'm like, okay, he's a gamer, you know, he's got a little gamesmanship, and I respect that because I like the gamesmanship as well. I like to add a little banter before the fight because I think it gives us more to fight for, and it's me eating my words or you eating yours. And I think that makes me compete harder. So I have no preference in who wins. I don't ever wish a guy wins or loses a fight. May the best man win that night, and I get to fight the better guy. You know, I think that's what it comes down to. I never really think about people fighting like that. Like, oh, I hope that guy loses. That's I don't know. That's like that. It's just weird to me. Like I wasn't raised like that to just be a hater. I'm just not a hater, man. It's just not. I don't have an ounce of hate in my bones.
Okay, so is there any chance they will put you in there right away, or do you think it's going to be Aldo versus Jan and you'll have to wait?
I think if any mishaps happen with the weight cut or visa issues, I think I'm the guy. I know they're doing July 11th, so I'm going to be staying in shape. And I got to get myself ready and prepped again to do 5 rounds. I haven't done that since I fought for Cage Fury. So get myself ready, mentally prepared for that, because that's a hell of a battle, man. You know, 25 minutes is a long time being there with somebody mixing it up. That's a lot of damage, a lot of mental fortitude, and a lot of focus that you got to have. So I got to mentally prep myself for that and make sure I can make that walk and be confident in my own skin stepping in that octagon.
And I know that you and Cory are represented by the same person, right? Lloyd Pearson. And I'm wondering, there could be some similarities. You know, I know that Cory was down after the fight, but what you've been able to do since that loss to Marlon Moraes and how you've turned things around and like almost coming out of your shell and just being comfortable in there. And you've as you told me, you felt the worst, and now so like there's no fear of the worst anymore. It's a great lesson for all fighters now to see the fighter that you've become. And so I wonder if he'll have the opportunity to take the same lesson. And I understand you guys kind of spend some time together after the fight. How was that?
Just a little bit after the fight. You know, I saw him. I yelled. I saw him sitting with Lloyd, but I didn't know it was him. I just saw Lloyd, and I was like, "Yo, I'm excited coming off the bus, you know, from the building." And lo and behold, it was him sitting with Cory. I was like, I felt bad, like instantly, because I know that feeling, man. I've been down and rock bottom. And I think it's whatever you make of it. I think you got to step back from the whole situation, assess what happened, and tackle it head on. I think that's really what it is. Take it for what it is. Don't make it bigger than what it is. You know, it's a fight. You lost. You made a couple mistakes. What could you have done better? And just bounce back. He's young. He's 25, I think, or 26. So he's got the world by the balls right now. You know, it might feel like rock bottom right now. It might hurt, but this is something temporary. You know, pain, suffering, that goes away after a certain amount of time. So grieve, get it all out, and get back to the drawing board, get on your horse. And if you truly do believe in yourself and your abilities, man, just start grinding, man. That's all you can do. You can't control anything else. You can't control what people think about you. I got knocked out. Oh, Aljamain has no chin, blah, blah, blah. He can't stand up. He's standing up, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, people talk. People talk because they have mouths, and social media allows them to do it. But they will never, ever make this walk and do what we do and put it all on the line for the world to judge them and to see and to, you know, chase a dream. You know, it's one thing to sit there and always say, oh, I wish I could have did that. And it's another thing to go out there and be those guys who are doing it, those men and female who are out there doing it. And we're doing it, man. We're living a dream. We're getting paid for it. And it's something that we're going to always be able to look back at. Like, it's a crazy ride for all of us, for myself, for Cory, Rise, all of us, man. This is like, I'm a positive person, dude. I'm a glass half full type of guy, you know. So you can't get me down for too long. And like I said, Cory's gonna be back. I've been there, I've done it, and here I am today.
Last thing, you think the Henry fight materializes at some point?
I think I win the belt. I defend it. I think it's gonna entice Cejudo to want to come back. We got a little bit of not bad blood, but we got a little bit of a thing going. So I think if the dollar signs talk enough, and I think if there's enough hype, I can get him out of retirement. I can swindle him in and beat that ass. So that's what I'm looking forward to. If he comes back, I can get to take out the triple C, the triple cringe.
All right. For now, though, in my books, you're the uncrowned champ. You're the king without a crown. That's it. That's it right there. That waist should have a belt on it right now. You should be doing this interview with a belt around that waist.
Ariel, I definitely appreciate all the support and the love, man. I saw the stuff you were saying, and that made me feel good to see people kind of finally giving me my fair shake and my fair due, man. Like I said, it's been a long road to get back here, and right now, I'm finally on the cusp of everything. So to see it all come to fruition, man, it's like you know, your career, you came up, and to see it all, you know, you get to your spotlight and see like, oh, you look back, it was a long ride. Same thing for me, man. It's no different. You know, like grind for everybody. It's all the same. When you see it, you visualize it, and it happens, it's just like, holy, it's mind blowing. You know, so that's kind of that state of all that I'm still in, and I'm just letting it all soak in and realizing like, yo, you are that good. You just gotta keep believing and keep putting the work in.
Enjoy it, my man. Thanks for the time as always. Good luck to the team on Saturday, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for having me.
All right.
Peace.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.